Hello, I'm Hans from Bodrive. Yeah, here is Spiel. It is the third day of the fair, and here comes from Little Lucky Games. Yeah,
Yes.
Can you introduce yourself and your company?
Absolutely. So I'm Nazareno. I work for Little Rocket Games. It's an Italian publisher, and we do mostly games for family and Crops. It's our new release.
Yes. What is the crops?
So Crops is a game about building your vegetable garden. It's a tableau building game.
Yeah.
And so there's many combination you can make in the game. The game will make you feel you should really do everything. You should, you should make all the connections perfectly. But while you play the game, you will realize that it's impossible.
Impossible.
Exactly. So you have to compromise.
I want to make it the same color. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it will be absolutely impossible. You have to compromise, and you just need to try to figure it out your strategy. You can actually change even the strategy during the game. And so you can either focus on something or even do a little bit of everything.
Yeah. How can I play?
Yes. So you have 3 cards on your hands.
Yeah.
And you have every player have 2 gold cards. Those are actually hidden from other players.
Yeah.
And every round you are going to swap one of your cards with one of the first row. So let's say I'm gonna do this. Then the second thing is drawing from the second row of the market.
Yeah.
So let's say this one. And after you've done this, you have to, you replace the cards, and then you have to place one of the cards in your hand.
Yeah.
And as I said, again, try to make the best of it.
Yeah.
So let's say
This is my top table.
yes. So let's say I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And so after that, you can decide to place one of your scorecards. As you can see, they are divided in 2 because the top part allows you to score for the vegetables.
Yeah.
So in this case, very poor choice.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get 2 points for every onion or
Cucumber.
I think it is cucumber, yes.
Yeah.
Courgette, actually.
Again.
So in this case, I have only 1 courgette and no onions.
Yeah.
So in this case, on this column, I'm going to score only 2 points. But for example, here you're going to score for beans and peppers, and I have 3 peppers, so that's 6 points.
Oh.
So the other way you can do is also place it underneath on the bottom. They works completely differently. So you are going to score based on the type of vegetables you have on your column. So in this case, for example, you score 2 points if you have at least 2 red type of vegetables, and in this case you have 4 here, so you do get the 2 points. Here you have to have 2 red, 1 yellow, and 1 green. It's not finished yet, so you can eventually reach this goal.
Okay. Is this also a red?
Yes, but there's different ways to score points.
Okay.
So we saw this one from the top. We saw the one from the bottom that you count only the card itself. And the other way is to multiply the big icons, so the one that are fully complete, by the small icons of the same color. For example, at the moment, let's say we finish the game like this. Okay, that's very bad, but anyway. So we would multiply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 red by 1. So that's 7 points.
Yeah.
And we are going to do that for all the 4 colors. So we have 1 big green here, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's another 4. And then the yellow, very bad. That's 0 points. And the blue one, we have actually only 1 point.
Okay.
So that's another way to score points in this game. And the particularity of this game is also the lunar phase. So as you can see, we have different lunar phases on our board, but we are going to score only for the one that we have majority. So we have majority of half moon like this.
Yeah.
So we are going to see on each card how many points we get for it.
Yeah.
So here it's 1, 1, 1. Here is also 1, and so on. So you can, in this game, the really interesting part is that you can focus on lunar phases. You can focus on icons. So you try to get more points on that way, or even focusing on the gold cards that you're going to place on the bottom and on the top. I played many times. I'd say doing a little bit of everything might not be super rewarding.
Yeah.
But it gets you, it lets you to win sometimes. Instead, focusing on maybe a couple of things will allow you to make a lot of points, but it's very difficult to do it.
Yeah.
Considering that, so as we said, we swap the first the cards from the first row. So that allows you also to check what your opponent is doing. And so let's say you need this card, I'm gonna get it even if I don't need it, just to block you doing more points.
Right.
So you can also stop your opponent on reaching a high score.
Yeah.
So
if the 12 cards is in my
yes, exactly. The grid is always 3 by 4.
3 by 4.
Yes.
Yes, it looks very interesting. Yes. Yeah, it is challenging. Yeah, I
Oh,
wanna
and
make a big.
Yeah, and even if it's so-called a game that you're playing solo with other people, you still have interaction on the market against others.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, your company. I think these boxes like hands already.
Yes, Ants was our first game.
Yeah.
They both doing very well, and Ants even won few competitions. So if you remember, it's very similar concept. Like the base concept is similar. It's a tableau building. But it's a more simpler game. It's as what I say. It's that kind of game that you can go to your parents or to your grandparents even and say, let's play this, and you can explain the game, and then we'll play it with no problem.
Right. Yeah. Very nice family game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. How can we buy this game on the internet or?
Well, it's a bit early at the moment. But hence definitely you can find almost anywhere in the world, and definitely online, and in our website you can find both games.
Okay.
And soon you will also find props in the shops.
Yeah, Little Rocket Games.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a nice day. Here comes from Arai. Can you introduce yourself and the company?
Yes, of course. Hello, I am Beatrice and I'm an editor at Ares Games. We are a company that was founded in 2011 and we do a whole wide range of games, but our main focus, as the name suggests, is strategic war games. So we are ever expanding our line with more family-friendly games and any kind of thematic hero games. So not just war games and not just strategy games here at Ares. Today we are here to present two of our newest games.
Yeah.
And right now in front of me I have WunderWaffen, which is a strategy game, a historical game.
Can you show the box?
Yes, absolutely. It's a beautiful box with beautiful art by Alan D'Amico.
Yeah.
It's very strong imagery, very striking. You can find the same cover art on the rule book. This is a game by Walter Obert, an Italian game author. This is strategy game, a historical strategy game based on the last months of World War II.
World War II.
When Germany was holding up against the arrival of the Allies forces. And so Germany is trying to stand strong against its inevitable downfall.
Yeah.
And the Allies forces are coming from all sides. We have like the Soviet Union coming from the east and the United States coming from the south. And then we have the UK on the West Front. And all of these allies have one common enemy, which is Germany.
Yeah.
Of course, they want to defeat Germany. And so they form an unlikely alliance, but it's an alliance that has fragile balance because each of these forces still want to be the winner. And so this environment is reflected in this historical game by it being semi-cooperative. So it's for 4 players or 2 players in the 4-player version, which is the base game. You have 1 player playing each one of the factions, and in the 2-player variants, you have 1 player that takes on Germany and the United States, and the other that takes on the Soviet Union and UK, because so that the game is more balanced, because in the 2-player version you play 2 factions and the weakest faction wins. So you want to play very balanced game. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Control Germany and United States very fresh for me.
Exactly, and also like United States and UK. So it's very interesting like that. And the game is slightly asymmetric because, as you can see, all of the factions have their counters, which are the base mechanism of the game. And I will show you in just a second how it works. But each of the faction has slightly different counters. So this is a quite light strategic game. It's not very complicated. And as you can see, is a bit abstract in its components. And how it works is that it's a map of Europe, of the battlefield of the last months of Europe, with Berlin in the center, which is where the Allies want to get. The other important thing about this game, which gives it its name, is WunderWaffen, which are the wonder weapons that Germany was trying to develop during the last period of the war. They were investing very much on research, trying to have these super strong weapons that could save Germany from being defeated in the war. And so while the Allies want to get as many territories to get to Berlin and conquer Berlin as fast as they can, while also being the strongest and having the upper hand on everyone else, Germany has to try to keep their territories, but also invest on research so that with these wonder weapons they can avoid being defeated. And how it is represented in the game is with these cards. Can I take them? Which are cards based on actual plans of weapons from World War II. You can see they have like flying wing bomber, then some are more actions, but
it looks like stealth.
Because these were the plans, like these are the projects that they made. And so each one of these cards gives the German player a few bonuses that can really change the landscape of the game and make them very much stronger. Thank you. So how the game plays is that it's played in 2 rounds, and in each of these 2 rounds, all 2 parts, not really rounds. And in each of these 2 parts, players place 18 counters, and how they play them is, for example, you see we have different icons on the counters.
Sorry.
It's okay. And you see there's different icons, and some of these represent some tracks that we have on the map that I will show to you, and some are kind of troops. So we have infantry troops, we have armored troops, then we have aviation, we have artillery, so many different kind of troops that represent how they are deployed on the battlefield. How it plays is that each round players pick 3 counters to make their moves, and the starting player is drawn at random or decided by the players, and each player puts their 3 counters. They can choose which counters they want on their starting areas. The Germany player has their starting area on their board. And the interesting thing is that the semi-cooperative element of the game comes also in its basic mechanism, because every turn you choose 2 counters that you want to play for yourself and 1 counter that you have to give to another player, because you see there's 2 sides. One is your color and is something that you do for yourself, and the other, it has the color of another faction on it. So these are all the same color, but you see, for example, this one you give to Germany and this one you give to the Soviet Union. And so you have to decide, what do I want to keep for myself and what do I want to give to another player, because every turn you have to make that choice. And so you can decide to keep the stronger counters for yourself, but also maybe give very strong counters to an enemy, or give weaker counters but also sacrificing your own counters. So it's, you have to decide. And so you each turn you do this, and you place your counters on the board to advance, to conquer territories. For example, in this turn, the United States player has an armored counter, a morale counter, and a soldier, an infantry counter. And so they can decide to advance on the map by choosing an area that is adjacent to them and conquering it. So, for example, here we have an armored counter on this space in the area. So we will have to put an armor counter there if we want to advance. So, for example, in this turn, the United States player puts one of these, but then they decide that they want to do something else. So some counters don't have troops on them, but they have actions. For example, this is a morale counter, this is a politics counter, this is, for example, a faction flag counter, which is a wild card. But in this turn, the United States player has a morale counter, so they decide that they want to use their morale counter to advance on the morale track. Because there is not just the issue of conquering territories, but you also have to decide how to deploy your other forces, like your political forces and such. And so the Allies players have a few options. They can, of course, advance on the politics track or on the morale track, like the United States player would do in this case. And so
we have three minutes.
Okay, yes, I will finish up soon. They will advance on the morale counter, on the morale track, and then they will decide what to do with the counter, and they will give it to the Germany player, which will use it immediately. And then another thing that the Allies players can do is that they can decide to sit at the conference table, which is only for the Allies, because they are technically allies, of course, between themselves, and each of these will give a bonus. Or the Allies players can also decide to advance on the event tracks, which will give them bonuses. These are all based on real events from World War II. And some of these are good, and some of these are bad events. But if you want to progress, you have to do them all, because that's how history goes. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And instead, the Germany player has the research track, where they can play research counters to advance on it, or they can also advance by things that the Allies do. And every time they earn enough research, they can buy cards which have different strengths. You have 1 research cards, 2 research cards, 3 research cards, and each of them represents the strength of these cards. But the Germany player can also advance on the politic track and on the morale track, but not on the conference. They are not invited to the conference. And they can also use their influence on territories. And then, as the game progresses, players gain victory points, and they advance on this track. The one who gets the more victory points wins.
Yeah.
So the other games that we have is more of a family-friendly party game. It's super minimal, very light, very easy to learn, and very quick.
Yeah.
So this is a logic game, like based on geometry and like strategy a little bit. And the game is super simple. You have a piece of paper, you have a pencil, and you have a Sudoku style grid with 9 lines, 9 columns, and 9 sectors. And what you have to do is you have to place polymini shapes on it, 4 square shapes, but it's drawn randomly. So you flip a card that tells you where you have to draw your shape. Just 1 square is enough. So for example, this one is column 3, then you roll the die, you know what shape to draw, and so you draw it. And so you do it like this. And at the end of the game, you have 20 cards. Each card is a shape. When you finish your cards, you score your points. It's very simple. The one who completes the most sectors, rows, or columns scores the most points, and they win. This is a super easy game. You can have no limits of players. As long as you have pieces of paper, pencils, and space at the table, you can play with it. Or you can do it.
Super easy and kind of Tetris.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure.
Yes, here comes from Zombi Paella, right?
Zombi Paella.
Zombi Paella, sorry. Can you introduce yourself and your company?
Yeah, my name is Enrique. I am from Zombie Publisher in Spain. We had tremendous international success with Rebel Princess, and now we are going to present another game.
Yeah.
So this
I love the game.
Rebel Princess. Yeah. So okay, this year we're going to present Distop-IA.
Distop-IA.
Okay. This is a card game, short card game, 2 players. Games last about 15 minutes, and it's a game based on mechanics of classical games. You know, this African game. But translated to cards. Okay, so in this game is set in the near future, where artificial intelligence is controlling everything. Some of all the offline objects, like pencils, board games, toys, have been banned, have been prohibited. Okay, because they have no connection to the internet. So we don't accept these rules, and we are going to try to contraband with these goods and move these goods across different districts and across the border. Okay, so we will take the role of one of the 2 characters. For example, I'm going to be the teacher. She wants to collect goods of culture, education, and survival goods. And the other player wants to collect hobby goods and survival goods as well. So in my turn, I'm going to select one of my 4 districts. Each side has 4 districts and the border cards. Okay. So I'm going to select one of my 4 districts, take all the cards, and move all the cards one per one in counterclockwise direction, like in Mancala games. Okay. Be aware of police robots. They want to catch you. Stop doing this contraband. So be aware of this. So for example, if I take this district, I take both cards and I decide in which order I want to distribute these cards, but always I have to follow the counterclockwise direction. Okay, so and I have to put 1 card per district. So imagine I put this card here, and then I should put this card here. But because there's a guard, you cannot put goods on top of a guard. So you skip this one and you go here. So now we have these numbers in border cards that for the base game are all the same, but we can set up different scenarios with different numbers, okay? But we have here 3. So if we exceed with the number of cards this number, for example, imagine there are 4 cards, I will take the cards that exceed this number and they will be mine. Okay, that's a way to get, because in the end we want to count all the cards that are on the side, on our side of the border, and all the cards that we have collected during the game. So we will score only the goods that have our needs, you know, the culture goods and survival goods. Okay, so what happens when this is empty at the end of the turn? We pick up 1 card from the deck and put it here. Okay? So some cards have nothing, and some of the cards have a siren. So because there's a siren here, there's an alarm. Okay, so beep, 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 beep. All the guards are moving towards the new alarm. So they are moving one space always in that direction and horizontally. So this guard is moving here and this guard is moving here.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a turn. Then is the turn of the rival. The rival has to select one of their districts and move all the cards. So the guards can be good while the game because they protect your districts from the opponent putting cards on here, collecting the cards.
Yeah.
But at the end of the game, each guard you have on your side is going to remove one scoreable card from you. So during the game, it's strategical to have these guards, but at the end of the game, you have to get rid of them. You don't want them. So for example, I can move this, and I can put, for example, imagine I don't want the guards, so I can do like this, this, and this, okay? And then I put a card here, there's no siren, so nothing happens. So the games continue, but take into account that the guards, you have to skip them. So for example, I cannot do this, I cannot do this. I select the cards, for example, this, then you put here, imagine I arrive here, so I will take this card and this will go here. So when the game ends, the game ends when the deck runs out, or if there is one player with a guard in each district. Okay, so how we count the points? We take all the cards and all the cards that we, okay, so all the cards on your district and all the cards you collected. So imagine here, I will count only the culture and survival cards. So this, I won't count this. I will count this, I will count this, I will count this. I don't count this. I will count this, I will count this. I won't count this, I will count this, and not this. Okay? And then I have to remove, for each guard I have, one scoreable card that I don't want. For example, this. I'm looking for number ones because they have less points. This, and this. So now I add all the points, so I have 10, 15 points, and the player with most points wins the game. Okay? There's some advanced mode as well. We have different, as I told you, different combinations from border cards. This is the city. So here we have 3, 4, 2, 3, but we can also have 5, 4, 3, 2. All the times there are so 5, so it's harder to steal cards here. 5, 2, 3, 5. Okay, and then we have, going to remove this. Then we have mission. Okay, that give you special scoring situations. Like for example, +5 points for the player with the most survival cards at the end of the game. Okay, +5 points for the 5th player to collect 6 contraband cards of any type before the deck runs out. It's about quickness. Okay, and then we also have, for the advanced mode, the collaborators. These are helpers that you can use once per game. For example, you decide to play with the grandmother hacker, and each player for one turn, when they use the grandmother hacker, can play cards in a clockwise direction. So in the other. So that's Distop-IA short game for 2 players, 15 minutes, based on Mancala.
I love these beautiful artworks. And Mancala by card is very brilliant idea.
Mancala is not so common mechanic. So we wanted to introduce it to new players and this easy game. So I think lots of people can understand what makes this game. Thank you very much.
Thank you. How can we buy this game on it?
For now, it's in Amazon Spain. We are trying to get deals with international publishers. This game available in other countries.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.